guys, what's up and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you all my favorite Kontakt banks in 2022. So first I'm going to tell y'all which Kontakt bank I'm using, then I'm going to show y'all a pattern with a MIDI from a friend, and then I'm going to show y'all how the Kontakt bank actually sounds like. And please remember, these are dry sounds and they have no effects, so you can get way more out of it if you just put some effects on them. Thank y'all for this crazy support, and yeah guys, let's go. So for the first Kontakt bank we got the Ilya FEMOF nylon guitar, and it's one of my favorite VSD guitars of all time. It just has a nice sound to it, and you have a few settings where you can have like a Spanish guitar, an older guitar, and modern guitar, and it's a pretty good bank for almost every guitar sample. And I have this MIDI from Pvlace, and this is how it sounds like. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got this Ambertone Recorders, which is one of my favorite flute banks of all time. And as you can see, you have a lot of options right here, and I put it on short just because it sounded good in the overall pattern. And I have this MIDI right here, and with the guitar these recorders are sounding like this. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got Admiral 6, which has so many sounds and they all sound pretty good. You got key instruments, stringed instruments, woodwind and brass, and a lot of more sections. So I'm gonna pick a stringed instrument, which will be this nylon guitar, and I will use the same pattern as before just so y'all can compare these Kontakt banks. And this is how the Admiral guitar is sounding like. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got the Chris Hine Horns Compact, which is again one of my favorite horn banks, and it just sounds so realistic and you can play with a lot of things. Like as you can see, you have a lot of different options right here. So I just picked the trumpets A from this section, and I have this MIDI from Ed Chase Vibes, and it sounds like this. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got the Noir bank. You have a few on the Felt bank, and I picked the Felt bank, and it's basically good for all piano samples. And I picked this MIDI I made a long time ago, and this is how the Noir Felt bank is sounding like. Now for the next thing we got the Renaissance guitar, and if you want to use that, make sure to turn off these hammer-ons, so just click the arrow down. And I got this MIDI from Young Jay, and this is how the Renaissance guitar is sounding like. Then for the next bank we got Vintage Horns from Big Fish Audio, and you have a few different presets and instruments. You got like a trumpet, you got a saxophone, you got flutes, and I picked the soprano flute, and I will let the guitar play in the background, so just that you can imagine how a full sample would sound like. And this is how the flute is sounding like. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got Session Horns Pro, and I picked the Vintage Horns preset, and I have this MIDI from I'm Synthetic, and this is how the Session Horns bank is sounding like. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got the Gentleman, which is one of my favorite piano Kontakt banks, and it's basically good for all type of samples, but I mainly use it for emotional samples. And I got this MIDI from Pvlace, and this is how the Gentleman bank sounds like. Then for the next bank we got the Django Gypsy guitar, and it's basically good for Spanish samples and emotional samples. And I picked this MIDI from Young Jay again, and this is how the Django Gypsy guitar is sounding like. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got the passion flute, and I have this MIDI right here from Potscolo. It's basically just in top line, and the passion flute is sounding like this. And for the next Kontakt bank we got the Chris Hine guitars, and as you can see you have a lot of different guitars over here, like a mandolin, a steel guitar, a nylon guitar and so on. For this example I will use the steel guitar, and I have my MIDI right here, and it sounds like this. Then for the next bank we get Vocalize 2, which is a crazy bank for vocal phrases and stuff like that. And I laid down this pattern, these phrases, and this is how Vocalize 2 sound like with the guitar. So then for the next bank we got the Joshua Bell violin, which is my favorite violin bank, and it just sounds pretty realistic in my opinion. This is the pattern I laid down. It's the same pattern that I had for the flutes, and again it's from Potscolo, and the Joshua Bell violin is sounding like this. Then for the next bank we got the Spaghetti Western bank, which has a lot of different instruments, but for this one I picked the whistle, but it has stuff like a banjo, a classical guitar, and it even has a drum kit where you can make percussion loops. This is the pattern again, and the whistle from Spaghetti Western is sounding like this. Then for the next Kontakt bank we got the hollow body electric arch top, and to be honest it doesn't sound that good without effects, but if you get some nice effects on that it will sound pretty realistic and pretty good, and this is how it sounds completely dry. Then for the next instrument we got the Scarby Rickenbacker bass, which is a super crazy bass for all types of samples, and I laid on this bass line, which is basically just the root notes from Young Jay's guitar, and the bass is sounding like this. Then for the next bank we got this Retos Dizzy phrases, and Retos is actually a pretty good friend of mine, so y'all make sure to check out the bank. And I laid down these 4 notes, and this is how the Retos phrases bank is sounding like. Then for the second last bank we have the X bass. It's my second favorite bass to use for almost every sample, and I laid down this bass line from Young Jay's MIDI, the root notes, and it sounds like this. And then for the last Kontakt bank we got the Evolution Flatbone bass, and it's one of my favorite basses. You have a lot of different presets right here, and I have the same bass line that I had for the X bass, and this is how it sounds like with the Flatbone Evolution. So yeah guys, if y'all enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Right now I'm recording for 43 minutes. That's the longest I ever recorded for. So please make sure to go crazy on this video. Make sure to comment what y'all want to see next. And yeah guys, see y'all.